What's up, everyone? Welcome to the What's Your Five podcast, episode 23. Joining me this week is my good friend and gaming host, Mr. JoelFrrr. How's it going, sir?
Good. How's it going?
Good.
Gotcha.
And coming back to the show is Miss Megan Hunt. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I am doing great. Thank you very much. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. It's definitely been it's been a minute. I think it was I think it was November. I think we talked to you last.
It was right around Halloween.
Oh, I think it was Halloween.
Yeah, that's right. It was spooky time. That's right. So we have Joel and Megan this week. Our topic that we're going to be discussing is going to be top 5 storylines that aren't RPGs. Now I know that's a little niche, or it's a little specific, but we'll get into it as we go along in the show. I did want to ask though, Megan, so I helped Megan out getting a PS5. How is it so far? What do you think? What are your thoughts on the PS5?
Ooh, I don't like how that started.
I know.
I'm not impressed with the size of it. God damn. And the design, at first I was like, oh, that's super cool. That looks cool. It's cool. And then now that it's sitting in my living room, I'm like, why did they design it this way? But besides the size and the ugly design, I love it.
Okay.
It's super snappy.
Yeah, super duper snappy.
Noticeable thing, and oh my god, the controller.
Yes. Well, okay, so it's kind of a toss up, right? Like some people love the controller. Like Joel and I love the controller. Who
hates the controller?
Who hates it?
People that have small hands. It was somebody. Who was it? Oh, it was my friend Crystal. She was saying to me, she's like, the controller's a little too big, and I'm like, what? Like the controller's fine. Like it feels great in the hands. It's like nice and like it's like in between the Xbox old school controller and like a PS5 controller.
The first Xbox controller was too large. That was a monster. But I think this one, it makes it, because it is an expensive controller. The heft and the size makes it feel like higher quality. And I'm sure they need all that room for the servos and all the cool stuff they put in there.
Yeah.
So we are not a sponsored video, but D-Brand is coming out with black plates, Megan. If you want to switch those out, if you don't like the white.
It's so funny, dude. Like, isn't it funny how like when a console comes out and when it's black, everybody wants it white. But if it's white, everybody wants it black.
The thing is, black is supposed to be like slimming, right? So I can see if you're not a fan of the large size that you'd want black.
Yes.
Right?
Every time I see my mom, oh, you've lost weight. I'm like, no, Mom, I'm just wearing black. I'm just wearing black. I'm sorry. Okay, and so then I'm assuming then Astro's Playroom. I'm sure you've dabbled in there and you did all the cool controller tricks and all that.
Yeah, but at first I didn't. Like I completely skipped over that and just went straight into, unfortunately, Cyberpunk, which really didn't utilize any of that cool controller stuff. And then I went into Spider-Man and I was like, wait a second, let me go all the way back. And someone at work had actually mentioned Astro's Playroom or whatever.
Right.
And I was just like, that just doesn't seem like my cup of tea, not understanding exactly what it was. But yeah, I legit like gasped when you pulled the triggers, the adaptive triggers.
You're like, oh my God. Am I just not that strong? Like, what happened to my
Someone holding back my trigger.
Yeah. Like I'm tempted to like bring it into work just so people can hold the controller.
So you brought the controller, but you didn't bring the system. Is that
true? No. I was tempted to bring it to work, like the whole thing, but it may go missing.
Yeah, I don't know. That place that you work, kind of some shady characters over there.
Sticky hands.
Some sneaky little people over there will not be named, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so glad to hear it. Glad that you got your PS5. Before we get into everything, let's just get it out of the way. I do want to remind everybody that we are still in the hunt for our 150 subscriber mark on YouTube. So please try to give us a subscribe. If you've listened to us for the first time, subscribe to our videos, like our videos, leave a comment down below. We want to do our random console giveaway. Again, this could be anything. It could be an Xbox One, could be a PS5, it could be a Nintendo Switch, or it could be a micro console. So, again, if you haven't subscribed already, please do. We're trying to hit the 150 subscriber, mark. Also, if you have any topics or anything like that you want to suggest, please reach out to us at topics@whatyour5.com. Also, we are still in the process of getting our live podcast up and running. So be sure to check out our social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, at what's_your_5 for all the latest updates what your 5 has to offer. And if you have any cool retorts to any of these lists that we have, I'd love to hear them. We're pretty responsive, so hey, like I said, don't forget to do all that. So with that all out of the way, thank you for listening to my humble rant. So top 5 storylines non-RPG. My understanding, or what Joel and I were talking about this, and I was thinking, okay, this topic should be storylines that don't fall into like an RPG genre. So for example, for me, it would be more traditional RPGs or JRPGs, like any Final Fantasies would be out. What else? Like, I don't know, like, what else is there that's a good RPG? I mean, even Western RPGs, like, I don't know, like, what was it? The hell's that? What does everybody love? Skyrim, I think, right? It's a Western RPG, right?
Mm-hmm.
So any of those type of things kind of omitted. But again, this is what's your 5, not what's my 5, because I didn't want to do this topic because it's really hard. So that's why I have Megan and Joel kind of duking it out for tonight. But yeah, so I mean, that's my, that was my criteria. But again, I want to hear what Joel and Megan thought about this as they were thinking about it this week.
Go ahead, Megan.
Me. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, well, when I started thinking about this, I basically had to start with what I could not talk about, which was, yes, all the RPGs I play.
Yes.
So it's like going through my Steam library of like, what is not an RPG on here that I have played that had a good story? And the first one that came up for me was like, oh yeah, no shit, was Portal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's been a while, but
yeah,
I remember just that being tied in with like what happens with Half-Life 2 was what definitely drew me into wanting to even play Portal at all.
Right.
And even Portal 2.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah.
I thought, honestly, for me, I loved Portal and I loved Portal 2. And the funny thing is that I knew what the story of Half-Life was in some respects, but the gameplay of those 2 games alone, because I'm a huge puzzle person, like I loved it. I would have never guessed it. And this was prior to getting me dizzy on first person. So I'm glad I got to play it before growing older happened. But yeah. So how about you, Joel? I'm very curious how your criteria happened and what your 5th choice is going to be.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I actually did enjoy the story for Portal 2 more, because I think because they make Laos a character.
Yeah.
But I digress. So it was pretty tough, right? Like it was like at first I was like, well, it's easy, if there's like equipment and there's skill trees and there's morality and there's character building, that's an RPG.
Sure.
And I was like, oh yeah, every open world game now has skill trees.
Every open world game.
Every game that has a story has some morality system and has dialogue choices. So then I kind of narrowed it down to like, if there's a lot of like numbers in your character building, like that has to be an RPG. So action RPG, Kingdom Hearts 2, strategy RPGs, I kick those out too. Riddell mentioned Western RPGs, so for me that was Mass Effect, that was Dragon Age, all those got the boot. And then when I started building my list, I was thinking like, I also wanted to omit, because the spirit of the discussion, right, is games where story isn't the focus, that have good stories. I also wanted to omit, like, I don't know what the genre is, but like story-based games, like Heavy Rain, which I loved. I felt like it didn't really fit the theme of the episode, but I kind of cheated on my 5th one. But we'll get to that. So for me, story it includes the plot, obviously,
right?
But I also took character development, atmosphere, world building, all that good stuff into account.
Sure.
So with all that said, I want to try to go one game per genre.
Okay.
We'll see as we go on my list to see if I kept that promise.
So,
but for me,
number 5 then.
Number five for me is going to be a pretty popular game. It's on multiple platforms. It's Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney.
Ooh, okay.
So at first, I just said I wasn't doing story-based games, but to me, this is enough of like a puzzle game.
Right.
It's more like a visual novel.
Yes.
I guess it's a story-based game.
But yeah, so, visual novel. No, I would, Circle gets a square on that. That's fine. Okay. I'll agree with that.
So yeah, the story kind of plays itself out in the gameplay. As the title Ace Attorney alludes to, you're an attorney, and in true Japanese anime fashion, you actually solve the case in each trial. The trial, the person on trial is always not the killer. But each case is really interesting. The way they solve the case, the way they figure out what happened, why your defendant is on trial for it. But the best part is definitely the cast of characters.
Yes.
Phoenix, Maya, Edgeworth.
Yep.
The girl Van Shoehorn, I can't remember her first name. She has my favorite quote of the game, foolishly foolish fool. That always cracks me up when I see that line. But yeah, so
wait, foolishly foolish fool?
Foolishly foolish fool. She calls Phoenix that many a time.
Wow.
In their case. But I thought this was a great. It's a little lighthearted. It's definitely the least serious game on my list. I think it did a great job. It showed that you don't need voice acting,
right,
to develop your characters. You don't need.
Oh, there's no voice acting.
There's no voice acting. It's all text based. And each character only has like 5 different photo stills, right?
Right.
They don't move. They have like the shocked face, the happy face, the angry face. So you don't need that fancy stuff, right? You need good dialogue. That's how you write good characters. That's so it made my number 5.
So Megan, have you played any of the Phoenix Wright games at all?
No, I have not, which is why I had no idea there was no voice acting.
Oh, that's
or is that just some of them? It's like on handhelds, or
yeah, it was all on handhelds, and they just re-released it on Steam. So
it's on
Steam,
Switch
and all that stuff.
I think Android and iOS, but the mobile version I don't like because you can't like tap to auto finish the sentence.
Oh,
so it's like when they talk, and I'm like, I can read faster than that. Come on, come on, guys.
It's like the man went to
for a text-based game. Like I cannot handle this. I need to fast forward. So, 3DS is actually still my preferred. It was built for 3DS, so I like it there because dual screen and it works out very well.
Yeah, I was actually, what was it? I just saw recently a video about 3DS hacking lately. It's been like the homebrew scene's like just like blowing up. It's crazy. So I do not condone downloading piracy games. I do condone hacking and homebrew. So just so you know. Cool. All right. So I liked Phoenix Wright. I thought it was, like I said, the story was good. It was a little, wonky, but it's Japanese. You can't really fault him for
the
that.
main character's best friend is named Larry Butts. I mean,
that's right, Larry Butts.
I take the game too seriously, but they do a good job. They do a good job of it.
Yeah, for sure. So cool. All right, Megan, what do you have for your number 4?
My number 4.
Number 4.
Well, I'm not even sure if this is considered not an RPG.
Okay.
Now that I think about it, but
throw it out there. Lay it on us.
I feel like the earlier Tomb Raiders are not RPG.
No, even the new ones are not RPGs.
Okay. Like I was on, yes,
yeah,
towing the line on that one. I was like, but yeah, just Tomb Raider. Honestly, I didn't really get into Tomb Raider until I had watched those Angelina Jolie movies. And that was, I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Wow.
For many reasons.
Yes, indeed. It was the guns, I know.
Yeah.
The accent, right?
It was the accent.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was a combination of everything. That was like my favorite movie as a kid. And as a kid, was it even that long ago? When I was younger. And I mean, I really didn't get into the earlier Tomb Raiders until I had even played like the later ones. Again,
you're not missing out on much.
Yeah. No, there's not much substance there, but just the story and what appeals to me too about it is it's a female character on it. Really.
Yeah,
you just don't see that all that often. And even back then, right? So that was refreshing.
Yes, very refreshing indeed. In fact, I think a lot of it, it not to dive into, it being too sexist or anything. I mean, yes, she had big boobs and all that. I get that part. But yeah, you never really saw like a really strong female character that was just a badass, right? Like that just went through town, killed bears and dinosaurs. So it's funny that you say that because I was actually listening to another podcast and they were talking about how is it Ubisoft that Tomb Raider, right? Yeah,
Square Enix.
Oh, Square. Sorry, my bad. Square Enix.
Why it's so good.
They're actually trying to combine the storylines between Rise and the actual like old school Tomb Raider. How do you guys feel about that?
How does she get rich? Because I remember in the original Tomb Raider she was rich.
And
in these she's just like a budding
archaeologist.
I was gonna say a budding Indiana Jones, but yeah, archaeologist is the correct profession.
Yeah. Non-Nazi fighting.
But what I really liked, so I that narrowly missed my list, Meg. I love the new Tomb Raider games. So yeah, they besides having a strong female character, I like that they didn't handhold her and make her like not in really hairy situations. They let her get beat up and hurt. Yes. It was realistic, right? It was like, because a lot of times when you have a strong female character, they make her like way OP and doesn't see any conflict, and it's too much, right? But now it's super realistic. Like, yeah, one person against an army is going to really struggle, and she gets hurt a lot.
Lightning, Final Fantasy 13. It's not like that, right?
right. No. You definitely struggle in like the combat is not original Tomb Raider. It's like almost all stealth. And bow and arrow funness, but I really liked it. I really enjoyed her. She really especially the first game. A lot of character development there. It's done really well.
Is Rise of the Tomb Raider the first of the series? Is that the one that everybody's benchmarking their computers with?
I think the third one in the series is the benchmark funness.
Oh,
because the reboot came out a while ago. I want to say like 4 years ago. It came out a while ago.
Yeah, it came out a while back, right? So
2016. Yeah, I'm looking at my library right now.
Oh, it's 2021. Hey, I was off by you.
Thank you. All right, good deal. So Tomb Raider. Oh, all right. And I played maybe about 20 hours, not 20, like 20 minutes of it. Not bad. I mean, I don't know why. Maybe it's still in my whole. I'm still into Street Fighter deal, which by the way, guys, I've totally kind of just like put that off completely. Thank God my blood pressure thanks me. And I'm actually, starting Ghost of Tsushima, or I've started to play Ghost of Tsushima, and like I'm really enjoying it. So thank you, Lord, for not, making me have a heart attack playing Street Fighter online. Sorry, tangent. Anyway, so okay. So Tomb Raider, So you played the recent ones. Did you play the old ones, like the PS1 ones at all?
The first one is really the only one that I can recall. And, yes, super rich in her mansion.
Yep.
Trapping the butler in the freezer, I think it was.
What?
Oh. Remember? I mean, he would follow you around everywhere. So you could close doors, so you'd like trap him in a room so he would stop following you. No? Is that? Am I thinking of a different?
I only played that sounds like a Hitman game. but I only played the demo, and I remember I kept dying against a tiger. I was like doing the backwards jump and the double shoot, and I couldn't kill it. And I would either die by a tiger, or I would run away and fall and die. And I was like, "There's a lot of dying in this game." And
even with and it was like auto aim too with the guns, right?
Yeah, because there's no joysticks. There's no joysticks, so it's
D-pad up click.
Yeah, I can't say I was too much a fan of like necessarily puzzle stuff, because I get irritated very, very quickly with stuff like that. And if I don't get it in like the first 3 tries, I'm just over it.
Right.
And we'll stop and play something else.
Sure. I think the reboot it was like the perfect match. There was like maybe 1 or 2 that were I had to stop and be like, oh.
Yeah,
all right, there's like a button to show hints or something, and I'll get hints. But other than that, they did a really good job where it was similar to the newer Zelda games where it's like hard enough that you're not like it's not obvious, but not too hard where you're gonna look it up online.
So, and I'm glad you bring this up because there's another thing I was thinking about this week, and we talked about this. I think it was on the same episode, but I'm not sure. But I know Joel bought his Game Shark back in the day. Before we get into Joel's number 4, how do you guys feel about cheats as a gamer now? Not back then, because I mean back then, we were kids and whatever, and whatever. But now, do you condone the cheating or cheats? And I'm not talking about like, hey, I'm gonna Google this because I don't know how to do it. That's not cheating. Cheating to me is like putting a code in or like putting God mode in. Any of that stuff. Like, I mean, yes, it's in there for the intention, the developers put it in there, but like, how do you guys feel about that mechanic? Like, do you condone it? Do you not condone it? I'm just curious.
Well, I think that would depend if we're talking specifically about single player games versus.
Oh no, yeah.
I was gonna say, as long as it's not in a multiplayer game, right. Or you also don't get a trophy for whatever you're trying to do and you cheat to get the trophy.
Right.
As long as those 2 things aren't done, then if it helps you enjoy the game, have at it.
Okay. All right. I mean, because
coming from the Game Shark owner.
I think that I think it's the exploits, right? Exploits I think are a little bit different. Like that's like duping art. I think that's a little different in Cyberpunk, right? Where like I've heard where you have to, in order for you to get a ton of money or like something like that, you can like duplicate this like art piece or whatever and sell it for a lot of money. Versus like if I press up down left right BA select start and get 30 lives, that's to me I think that's the intention, and okay, you get 30 lives, great, versus actually exploiting certain things in the game. So that's why I was very curious about how you guys felt about that, because I was kind of conflicted at first. So I don't know. Yeah, so think about that. If you guys have any questions about that, or if you guys have any thoughts, let us know. Joel, your number 4. What do you have?
My number 4. I actually think this is also maybe a Square Enix game, but it's an older. Man, I said old. It came out in the 2010s, which I guess is old for some people.
Old.
I don't know how many people play this game because when I first so I only bought it because it was on sale. Okay. And I thought it was just going to be a GTA ripoff, and kind of I wasn't really thinking it was going to be good, but it was awesome. It's a game called Sleeping Dogs.
Oh,
so this game, I know this is one of your favorite movies, Riddell. It's imagine The Departed.
Yes,
but set in Hong Kong, and that's really? Sleeping Dogs. It's literally the main character's name is Wei Shen. He's part of like the FBI in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to Hong Kong, where he's from, to kind of infiltrate a triad gang.
Mm-hmm.
And then he kind of falls into this like all drama where there's a street war and there's power imbalance and they're fighting for it. So he's towing the line, right? He's like reminds me of all those scenes in the Fast and the Furious where he's like, oh, your job is to do this, and he's like, this is wrong, I need to fix it. So he's like really
like going back and forth.
Do I just play police officer, or do I do the right thing as a gangster?
Right.
And of course, he has like childhood friends, and he has to decide what he wants to do there. But it's a really good story. It was my inner discussion between this and Mafia 2. If you guys have played that, that's pretty much Godfather in a video game.
Really?
It was really close, but I decided because you don't really see like the Hong Kong setting too much in video games, so I really enjoyed that. Like American Mafia games are pretty common.
Right.
So I was a huge fan of Sleeping Dogs. The voice acting is done really well. Maybe the first game that had English with Asian accents and didn't sound ridiculous.
Ah.
And then the main character was done really well as well. So I was a huge fan.
Was it Ghost of Tsushima like voice acting, like on that level?
Maybe not that polished, because the game did come out.
Oh yeah, sure.
Ago, but it was good enough. It was, my suspension of disbelief was engaged, And they did throw in Chinese, and they would subtitle it, so it wasn't like total whitewash.
Right.
But yeah, the story was really great, and the characters were really great, and it totally reminded me of The Departed, which is a movie I also love.
Did you watch The Departed, Megan?
I have.
Okay.
But I mean, like years ago.
Sure. That was a great movie. Did you play Sleeping Dogs? Is the question.
No, and I honestly thought that was an RPG.
I bet you have it on Steam.
I probably do.
It's a Batman combat system.
Is it the Batman combat system?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Everybody has that combat system.
It's GTA because it's I don't know this for sure, so comments feel free to correct me. Yep. I believe in China guns are like not allowed. So it's like GTA but no guns.
Oh.
For like 90% of the game. There's guns at the end, which to me kind of ruins it.
So then I guess if the gameplay's like that, it was so it had the Rocksteady like engine in that. Was it like Yakuza then?
I played Yakuza.
Oh,
I remember when we first talked about Yakuza, I was like, "Is it like Sleeping Dogs?"
Oh yeah.
We were like, "Oh no, the newest one's an RPG," and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, the newest one. Yeah, the newest Yakuza is a straight up JRPG, like for real, like turn based everything. Which I'm like, yes, like so. I'm like ready to.
Sleeping Dogs is totally like you have a car, you drive around, you can pull over and fight people, and start fighting and running and weapons. Oh, and it does have a really cool finishing system. So like throw people's heads into fans and throw them on power generators and electrocute them. It's pretty cool.
American History X put him on the sidewalk curb. Oh my god! Open your mouth. No. Sorry. All right, Megan, do you have your number 3 ready to rock?
Yes. Yeah. This was a game that a friend of mine told me that I should play like years and years ago. And when I saw it again on my list, I was just like, oh yeah, this game made me cry. It's called To the Moon, and I think it's like it must have been like some sort of indie game, honestly, because I had never heard of it before. And I think it was built like with one of those RPG makers. So now I'm wondering if it's just an RPG. But
no, it's an actual game. It's on your Steam, I'm sure. But yeah, no, I'm looking at it now. It's
yeah, the what was sad about it, I mean, the story, I think, if I remember correctly, is as you're dying in this world, they have this ability to create artificial memories as like last dying wishes or something.
Okay. Yeah.
And this dude wanted to go to the moon. And I know there's a lot of other backstory about his life, but in the end, like they do create artificial memories to send this guy to his dream in the moon. And I think there's other stuff, like he finally finds the woman of his dreams that he met when he was like a kid or something like that. Like basically everything came together, but he dies. So like I cried at the end. I was super sad. And I was like, if you can make me cry, then you did something right.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think I've ever had, I'm trying to think. Well, I guess the closest thing just recently actually was when Aunt May died in Spider-Man. That was sad. And now Megan's like, did she die?
In the PS4 Spider-Man?
Yeah, the PS4 Spider-Man game. Joel and I were talking about this last episode. We were like, I was like, dude, that was a sad part. Like it really was. Yeah,
I wasn't expecting that.
No, but I mean, the To the Moon thing sounds awesome. like it sounds really good.
I have that game on Steam as well. I heard it was excellent. I've never played it. But I don't want to tangent too much, but I know Megan is familiar with the show Black Mirror. There's an episode called San Junipero I think it sounds semi-similar.
Yeah.
And if any of our listeners or Riddell or Megan have read the sequel to Ready Player One, they kind of tackle the same thing where when people die, they save their consciousness.
Right.
And, just to take a stance on here, because we're an opinionated podcast here.
Yeah,
I think that's all bullshit.
Yeah.
Once you're copied, that copy is not you. It's another entity filling itself with your consciousness. So if I died and I was like, I want to climb Mount Everest,
Yeah.
and I die and they take a copy of me and bring me to Mount Everest, that's not me. That's something else. With populated with my essence, but I died. I'm dead. My opinion on those kind of, because it's there's a lot of stories like that, right? It's like if I back you up into a computer,
yeah,
I live forever. And like, no, you don't. That's a program running your memories. You're dead.
But then, like, shouldn't they have done? I'm just thinking about Vision and the Scarlet Witch in the Avengers. How she like, you're like, I want to kill him. I'm like, dude, just it's okay. You can kill him. It's all right because we got a backup. And Tony Stark got a backup.
He actually is like from a computer though, so I think he doesn't really count.
No.
He is a computer. I mean, well, he was a Magulus combined of it.
So what you're telling me is Scarlet Witch is fall in love with Catfish? Like, fell in love with
she's in love with there was that movie where the guy falls in love with Siri, right? It's like,
oh, that's right, yeah. With Joaquin Phoenix. That was right. That was actually a really good movie.
Never watched it. I just thought it was ridiculous. But it also, if you guys are familiar with like how they explain Star Trek teleporting, same exact thing. They copy you into the hard drive, dissolve your body, and then paste your backup on the planet. Like, no, you're dead. That's a copy. You're literally dying each time you teleport.
Megan, thoughts?
But let's continue. Sorry. Tangent.
Yeah.
I feel very firmly about this piece of science.
I mean, that's legitimate. I mean, wasn't there also another episode of Black Mirror where like this lady's boyfriend dies and she like gets
the entire history of you?
Copy.
Exactly, Megan.
Yeah.
Exactly it. Is that robot her boyfriend? No.
Yeah, and in the end, no, obviously not. I mean, I agree to a degree. Yeah.
But
and I just spoiled Megan's number 3.
Nah, no, that wasn't spoiled. It was a good topic to discuss because it's true. I mean, your essence is dead, but yeah, if you have a backup, yeah, all right. I guess
we'll tackle time travel next week because I also have a firm opinion on time travel. Won't go into it here.
We'll talk about that later. All right, number 3, Joel. What do you have?
Number 3 is the most recent game on my list, and hope it. I noticed some feedback on our YouTube is that we talk a lot about old games, which makes sense because we're old people.
Yes.
This is a recent game, so all you youngins will know this one. Red Dead Redemption 2.
Ooh.
So I really enjoyed this. So it was close. I know, Riddell, you're partial to Red Dead Redemption 1, which I also thoroughly enjoyed. But I think in 2, and this is a recurring theme I've noticed now looking at my list, they nailed the character development, right?
Yes.
Like no one is the same in that snow field than they are when they're killing each other at the end of the game.
Right.
Obviously, the main character is Arthur, and his is the most obvious what he goes through.
Yep.
But even like and then John Marston, you're kind of, oh man, that's John from the first game, so you're keeping an eye on him and you're seeing him. But to me, the most interesting character was Dutch. He like how he goes from like I'm looking out for my guys to full on cult leader. It's really really interesting to. Oh, I'll never finish the game, but
sorry.
It's really interesting to see.
No, side note, Megan actually ruined the story for me, and not intentionally either. She actually asked me before. I don't know if you remember this. We were in lunch one day. You were just like, "Do you care whether or not I tell you this?" I'm like, "Nah, go ahead."
Riddell never cares.
And you'd be all right. And when you told me, I was like, "Wow, like that was really cool." But I didn't realize that. Yeah, Dutch was starting to become a little bit crazy as I was playing the game. Like I think I would say I was close to about maybe 35 to 40% in the game. So I mean, like it's not like I didn't like the game. It was just too much for me. It was just like I said, like you're cold. I gotta eat warm meat. Like my finger hurts. I need a nail cutter. Like it's like I don't care. Like I just want to shoot people and I want to run with the horses. Like I just it got a little too like detailed in there.
I think the character model shivers, but I don't. Well, only in like the really really snowy part where you have to go kill like as a side mission where you have to go kill someone. I think only there it actually is like detrimental to your health or detrimental.
Detrimental.
But yes, Red Dead Redemption 2. Even like the characters that you fight in Red Dead Redemption 1 that you actually learn their backstory in 2.
Yeah, like
Javier and Bill Williamson. They're done so well, and if you take the time to actually find each person wants like a gift. If you find their gifts and you actually get their backstory, it's really cool. And I like at the end how spoilers, how like Dutch is obviously crazy, and there's people who still are on his side and like actually fight Arthur. Right. And I'm like, that's so realistic, because in a normal, Hollywood story, they would all join Arthur and they'd all revolt against Dutch, and there'd be Arthur wouldn't die and everyone would be happy, right? But
right.
I thought it was really well done. I thought it was a great prequel. Like you I don't know. I usually don't like prequel sequels. That's just my preference. This one was done really well.
Megan, did you really enjoyed Red Dead? Did you do you have this on your list? Because I'm just curious now at this point.
So for the reasons why Joel put it on his list is the reasons why I didn't put it on my list, or I guess opposite. I was like, it's too new. I shouldn't talk about new games because everyone's going to talk about this game, right?
So, it's your list. Who cares?
But I mean, I agree. Red Dead Redemption 2 was amazing, and if I had more time, I would definitely want to sit down to play it again. It's just a beautiful world, and like the character progression too was very interesting. And I don't know if I remember correctly, but as you're playing Arthur, like you can realize that you're being like cut out of the inner circle, and I was just like, what is going on? Because there was something that as the player you weren't necessarily 100% in on like you usually are, right? So that was just like a realistic, right? Real,
especially with Micah situation. You'll see like Micah and Dutch come out of his tent and it's like, hey, I'm supposed to be your right hand man, why wasn't I in that discussion?
Arthur,
I'm not part of the cool kid crew.
But yeah, it wasn't there's a lot of games where it's like, oh, I'm almost done, I need to make the bad guy bad, but it was like, nope, this is like 10%, 15%, 20% of the game, you can see it coming, which made it worse. And also talks about crying, man, when his horse died.
That was so unnecessary. Like I was like, I'm gonna make this with the horse, and then just right there at the end, I was like, why?
Like, why would you do this? Why are you doing this to me? Damn you, game!
All right, Riddell, do you care about spoilers?
No, go for it. This is a spoiler-filled podcast.
Sadder horse death, Megan. Red Dead Redemption 2 or Ghost of Tsushima?
Okay, I felt like that was unnecessary too. I feel like the horse never needs to die.
Except for Shadow of the Colossus. I'll tell you that right now. That horse needed to die because it never listened to you, ever.
That game just is terrible. But
I would say it was sadder in Ghost because it's like you I thought I was like, I made it through. Right. And then I was like, no, he's not gonna make it, and he doesn't make it.
No. If I remember in Red Dead Redemption, they're storming something or they're running away, he gets shot down, you fall off and he's dead. If I remember correctly.
Pretty much. And he's just like, thank you.
But Ghost was like, the horse is full of arrows and still like dragging you along to get you out of there. And then once you're finally out, he collapses. So that was way sadder to me. It was like, Kage. I'm gonna miss you. You chose Kage. I named my horse Kage because I chose a black horse.
I did too.
Ashy.
The heartstrings. And then what also made me upset, and this was the end of Red Dead Redemption 2, towards the end, so it was whatever. But they gave you another horse, and I was like, I'm walking. I don't
Oh,
walk.
Yeah.
You're ugly brown, and you don't even like.
He's like a decrepit horse.
Yeah, like straw, whatever those things are.
The reins,
horse whippers. Yeah. So I was like, I'm walking. See you, buddy.
Horse whippers.
Horse whippers.
Well, man. I'm sorry. Okay. To be honest with you, Joel, I didn't realize that you were going to spoil that for me, but okay.
I asked you if you were okay with spoilers, Rendell.
I was okay with spoilers. I didn't know if you were going to spoil the game I'm already playing. Like, if you had told me Aunt May died in Spider-Man, I would be really pissed, to be honest with you. I ain't going to lie. But the horse died. Man, dude.
So get your saddles before you finish the game. Make sure you get all the saddles you can for that beloved horse, because you won't get to wear them for the whole game.
Poor horse, man. I'm telling you, dude. Horses are like dogs, or cat. They're just animals.
The companions.
Companions. There you go. Thank you. Companions. Good.
And how wholesome is it after you like clear a town and he's like petting his horse and like combing his fur and stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's right, buddy. We did well, I did this, but you took me here, so
Well, he was always nice to the horses. Arthur, he was always nice. He's like, oh, that's a
yeah.
good girl. Yes.
Oh, I would. I'm sure you did too, Meg. I would always park the horse on the, on the.
Oh yeah,
the
and I brush him.
Give him an apple or something, and I'll be like, thanks for the trip, buddy.
What's the DS game that you take care of horses? Did you guys play that too? God, I gotta think about what the game is. Oh,
I know the dog one. I don't know about
Nintendo dogs. Yes. I was thinking maybe I'm thinking of Barbie's horse riding. So I don't know. So
we're giving Anthony a lot of content to cut, by the way.
Yes,
so.
indeed. All right. So Megan, we're getting close now. Number 2. What do you got?
Okay. So I have to ask: is BioShock an RPG?
It's a first-person shooter with RPG elements, but I do not count it as an RPG.
I will agree. I will also agree with that. Circle does get the square.
Yeah. So when I first played BioShock, it wasn't anything that I was expecting because I knew nothing about the game. Mm. But the whole, I guess, story and environment and even your character that I felt like you never really knew enough about was just mysterious enough. Not knowing enough about what is going on in this weird place that you've woken up in has always been, well, I feel like that's like how you start off on a lot of games. Oh, look at me, I don't know anything and you have to teach it all to me.
Where's my companion that teaches me how to cook?
This game you're alone. Well,
so it was like definitely just like that feeling too, like what do I have to do? And but yes, the story, because that's what this is about. The story, was just like the darkness in it, and that entire, I guess, the universe that it was built around. For just one game, I felt like was very in depth, which is good because they made like 2 more games.
It was 3.
It was 2, but I would consider 2 more. But I would consider the Infinite DLC its own game. Because the DLC was freaking awesome. Burial at Sea.
Oh, I did not play the DLC.
Oh, you go back to the Rapture. You need that.
No shit.
Play the DLC, yes.
We all learn something new in this podcast every time.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Well, I will be
now
downloading.
You have something to play this weekend. And you're I won't spoil it for you.
It's really good. You're not going to spoil hers, but you're not going to. And basically, my horse dies, which
Kage, sorry.
Man.
I mean, at this day and age, you have to assume the horse is going to die, right?
No, I did not assume the horse is going to die. Then again, like I said, I haven't played such a grandiose game in a very long time, so I'm really enjoying the game so far. So it's like I'm like hoping that doesn't happen.
It's funny because sorry, I know this is off topic, but like the plot in Ghost of Tsushima is like so urgent. Like, dude, you have my uncle and like people are dying.
Yep.
Yet it's like you want to do every single side quest because they're so good.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%.
4th person I've seen on the road. I'm going to rescue you from bandits.
Yeah, man.
My uncle could be getting tortured right now, but I have time.
But you know what? His uncle would have been okay with that because he wanted to be, he wanted him to be a good person, and so. If that person's going to be on the bridge, use this bait when all these archers are shooting arrows at him, you best believe I'm going to shoot all these Mongols in the face because I want to get my experience points, man. I need to build up my skill tree. But yeah, I never, again, I think this may have been one of the games I think Joel wanted me to play. Unfortunately, of course.
No, I know you don't like first-person shooters, so
I don't.
I left it off my. Yeah.
But still, I mean, like everybody, like I said, there's a lot of people that have played this game that love it, and it's scary, right? There's like little jump scares here and there. Is that my understanding?
It's darker. Yes, it's darker than, and I guess this would be like drawing the line for me as well on like a scary game.
This is the scariest
as far as
game
I go.
That and what I'm playing Control right now. I don't know if you played Control, Megan.
No.
These are like the 2 most. I can only play Control in like 1 to 2 hour bursts because it's scary enough for me. I even Googled like, is Control a scary game? People were like, no, it's not. It's weird. It's suspenseful, but it's not scary.
Right.
They lied.
I don't know, man. You know, have you guys seen like the Resident Evil Village like stuff going on right now? Like, I guess you know. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying like because I follow a lot of Capcom stuff, and everybody and their mother is like cosplaying like the bad guy or the bad woman, bad girl. Because I guess she's like hot, but she kills you like really badly.
I think she died. That real person. That's the story.
Oh yeah. That's right. The girl that actually they modeled after she just passed away recently, colon cancer. Man.
Yeah, 39. Man, that's sad.
Yeah, just like Chadwick Boseman, man. You know, Wakanda forever. So, but yeah, it's just sorry. Back to scary games. Yeah, I was thinking about BioShock being like a scary game, but it's just dark. It's mostly just dark, right? It's not like, you know, super jump scares or anything.
I think it's scary.
I mean, it's dark. The models are character models, you know, the bad guys, the big daddy, and like the weird little girl too.
The sound is really good, so you'll hear like splicers like around the corner.
Oh god, the splicers.
Once I spam the shit out of the bees. Because they're like tracer rounds. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I know there's a splicer around that corner. I'm gonna shoot some bees. So I don't have to see them.
Wow. Okay, so BioShock number 2, Megan. Good job. Joel, what is your number 2, sir?
So I think I remember, and when we did our top bosses list, we had some coinciding choices, Megan. Mm-hmm. And my number 2 is also BioShock.
All right.
This was actually pretty rough because number 2, number 1 were really close. I flip-flopped multiple times, and I'll get to why I chose 1 when I talk about number 1.
Yeah.
But BioShock, it's so in any like dystopian / science fiction story, I rank this up there, way up there in terms of like world building. So it's not, when you think of, you know, there's not many characters. There's like a handful, like Dr. Elizabeth. Your guy's a silent protagonist, so he doesn't talk very much. But go through the trouble of picking up all the recordings, and that's where all the story is, right? The world building. I think the like one that really I thought about when I was writing this list was before the first boss. So if you guys don't know, BioShock, the premise is like, once we get rid of law and religion, we're going to be super awesome because we have no limits.
Right.
So we'll discover all the sciences and we'll do all the things we want to do, and no one will hold us back. Well, one very famous plastic surgeon goes into Rapture, and he goes batshit crazy, and you start picking up recordings before you fight his boss battle of people he's just like mutilating because he's trying to create like the perfect. It's like an SVU episode, right? But all that kind of stuff, it really builds like a creepy, really in-depth world. And then again, we're a spoiler show, so the "Would You Kindly" like scene to me is like the Usual Suspects ending of video games. The Kaiser Sose moment, if you guys are from of video games, that's like, you know, the jaw on the floor, the oh shit, the aha moment. If you look any like game twists, that's going to be number 1. No one's didn't see it coming at all, and it was done like really, really well, and just a great game, great story. I one of my premises going into it was like I can only choose one game per series. But if you wanted to include the series as a whole, it has like one of the best overarching stories along the 3 games. And Infinite is kind of, you don't really see it, but Megan, once you play Burial at Sea, it'll tie in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I won't spoil it because it's so good.
I hate you. All right. So we got BioShock. We have a winner. We have a winner in the same list. So honorable mentions before we get to number 1. I know, Joel, you have a ton of them. Lay it on me, partner.
I have a lot. Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay, yeah.
I mentioned Mafia 2. Horizon Zero Dawn is very much like BioShock, where I think the plot's good, the characters are good, but the backstory is freaking awesome.
Wait, I'm sorry. What was that one?
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, gotcha.
So if you guys like this, like dystopian or like apocalyptic worlds, Horizon Zero Dawn right up your alley.
Yeah.
The original StarCraft, GTA San Andreas, Uncharted 4, and latest God of War. Those are all not RPGs.
Wait, I saw Megan shake her head. What was that?
Oh, Uncharted. I was just not a fan of Uncharted.
Really?
The whole series or the last game?
The whole series. It was like all the games were gifted to me, and I played through all of them back to back, and complained every single second of
that. Is dedication.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to play them just to get them out of the way and be like, hey, I played those games you gave me. But this, I just know, I don't know. Maybe it's because I played it way later after like the whole series was completed, but it was just like way too generic. White guy saves the day. Like I also like getting into like maybe the second or the third game, I was like, this dude's a mass murderer. How many people are you going to be killing to like find what you need to find? And then I think the last game, he like really wrongs his girl, and I was like, you cannot go back to him. And she does. And I'm like, you have no self-respect. What the fuck? I was so upset. With.
So first off, the people he kills are mostly mercenaries. And that's their own fault.
That's just so many of them.
When you're a gun for hire, you have to anticipate things happen. Okay. From what the developer said, like they think so when, people complain that Nathan Drake is like invincible, right? He never dies. He gets shot up. He should be Swiss cheese. Mm-hmm. I think the developer said that every hit you take that doesn't kill you, and like the cannon actually missed, and that's like his luck meter. So when he dies, his luck meter ran out and he got killed. Fun tidbit. But modern day Indiana Jones. He has his faults, but the story is good. The ending is adorable with their daughter. I don't know.
Oh no. I was just like, you really gonna make me go through this? I'm sorry. I hated these games. I'm just gonna lay it out right now. I fucking hated them.
Okay. So, was the gameplay at least good?
Actually, no, I did not like the gameplay either. I really didn't.
This is easily like 50 hours of games you played through just for the sake,
I know. And
no.
I could talk to my roommate, and he too was just like, why are you playing these games? You seem to hate them. But
I gotta say, first off, Megan, props to you for playing games that people have purchased for you. I actually purchased a game for my friend that he is obligated to play now, because even though he didn't want to play it, now he has to play it because I bought it from him. Second of all, like, man, dude, like, can you think of a game that you had to play? Oh no, I can't think of a game. Shadow of Colossus.
I didn't finish it. It was shitty.
No, but see, at least you got close to the end. I'm trying to think.
So there's what, 12 bosses?
I think it was like 12.
I think I did like 8.
Yeah.
And then I saw the ending coming, and I was like, okay, I know the ending. I'm not going to finish this to see the ending that I already know is going to happen.
Oh man. I think the last game that happened to me was Pokemon Shield. Oh no, Sword on Switch, because I bought it, and I just bought it because I wanted to buy into the hype. But God, man, the game was so fucking boring. Like, it was so boring. Like I just couldn't. I fell asleep like half the time I was playing, just like spamming like tackle or whatever the hell the stupid, attacks were. And I know, Joel, I'm sorry.
They're grind fest. I never finished them. I don't think I've actually finished one all the way through since like probably gold and silver.
Yeah, so it's just I can, like I said, I give you way props, Megan, for playing for playing a game that you hated all the way through.
I thought that it would get better, as I continued, because I knew that this was like a blockbuster game.
Yeah, AAA title.
Whatever. But I just could not enjoy any second of it.
Did you play the newest ones, the 2 girls?
Lost Legacy.
No. It was like the box set with like up to whatever. Was it 4? I think was the last one. Yeah.
I think it was, or 1 through 3.
I think the box set had 1 through 3, and then
and then I had
every PS4 came with part 4 or something.
Yes.
You were issued it. But
I just thought it would get better, and maybe it would just click for me, but it just never happened.
Wow.
I think it's definitely like it feeds the like the machismo kind of gameplay, right? It's third person COD.
Yeah.
A lot of the time.
Yeah, that's true. Very, very true. Yeah, I can agree with that. I guess I never really got too much into them. It wasn't really something that was like, ooh. But then again, like I said, my AAA list is, finally starting to get tackled down because I'm not playing silly games anymore. So, but yeah, thank you for sharing that, Megan. Do you have any honorable mentions in your list before we get to number 1?
I mean, pretty similar stuff that Joel had as well that I just didn't really want to talk about because they were so fresh, but silly me. Like Horizon Zero Dawn, like honestly was immediately one of the games that I thought of. Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
Just Red Dead Redemption, God of War. I mean, God of War, I was really like, is this an RPG or not? I
don't think it was. No, I think that's so. That was a straight action. That's the action.
Okay,
game,
yeah.
Up, like
God of War, yes. I mean, the whole series of that is just that mythology stuff is very interesting. But
sure, cool.
It's actually funny. I never like. I was kind of bummed when it was announced they were gonna go like Nordic because I love the Greek mythology, but it was done really well. Like I don't know any of these Nordic gods besides like obviously like Thor and Odin.
Yeah,
but it was awesome. And seeing it like and watching MCU, it's like, hey, Peter Dinklage is like the Smith in God of War. That's kind of cool.
Oh,
well, they killed one of them before Thor gets there. But I was gonna ask you, Megan, Horizon Zero Dawn. So I love the game. I can't wait for the next one. Did the ending kind of not the ending like not her going to see her, let's call her mom's grave, but before that when they had like the whole sorry, Riddell, I know you wanted to play it maybe. When they had the whole like ending battle, it's like this is a battle for the world, right?
Yeah.
And it's like there's like 4 people with me in the front line. Like, what is this a technical limitation? Or it's like, why is there so little people with me to defend this line before they get to the where they can start calling like the sending out the radio waves to make the machines go crazy? I thought that was kind of weird. I don't know if that was a technical limitation. So the exact part I'm talking about is where you
remembering correctly,
where you get that gun that like kind of does like artillery. It's like at the very end.
Yes.
And there's like 4 stations. And I'm like, hey, this is like the front of like this should be like chock full of people trying to like defend it. Gotcha. And I was like, there's like 3 of us here. And then when you get to the very top, when you have to kill like the last boss or whatever, it's like you and like 2 other people. And I'm like, this doesn't feel very world ending. This is like, sorry, small complaint. Everything else I loved. I just it didn't make my list because to me Aloy was the only good character.
Everyone else was a freaking asshole. Like they hated you. Like there's so much stigma against Aloy for the entire game.
The dad liked her though, or the guardian.
He died.
Thanks. Spoiler filled podcast.
He's the
folks.
horse.
Right. Well, he dies like way in the beginning. You can see that coming. But man. Yeah, everyone's like, oh, that jungle girl, and then when you go to your tribe, oh, that outcast. I'm like, you guys, I ain't gonna find your minerals or whatever you need. I'm gonna, but I did it anyway because.
Oh man! All right, so Joel, you started off. What is your number one story game or story in a game, non-RPG?
So my number one, as I mentioned, it was hard to go decide between 2 and 1. I knew what my top 2 were going to be, but number 1 I went with because they did have that silent protagonist thing in BioShock, and there weren't too many characters, and this game had them in spades. My top story in non-RPG was from Metal Gear Solid 1.
Yes.
Oh.
This like I don't even know how to explain how good it was. I was writing notes and I was like, all of the characters are so good, right? Snake, Naomi, Campbell,
Mei Ling,
Master Miller, aka Liquid Snake.
Hey, that was
Errol.
You were talking about
another spoiler.
No, I was gonna say, you were saying the BioShock that that if you ever had like a oh shit moment, in BioShock. I'm sorry, but the oh shit moment was Master Miller being
taking out sunglasses,
taking out the sunglasses, taking out the hair. Like, oh shit!
Well, and then
oh my god,
there's even like so. Besides that, right? Was there any better? So that's exclude comics because they're cheating because they have a lot of backstory.
Yeah.
Does any original game have as good of a rogues gallery as Metal Gear Solid 1?
No.
Revolver Ocelot, Psycho Mantis, Sniper Wolf, the Cyborg Ninja dude. It's like Cyborg Ninja dude.
Yeah.
Like so good.
Yeah.
And then obviously the story is great. Like for what is supposed to be a stealth action game, this is like literally like movie quality.
Oh yeah.
Story in 1997 or 8, whenever the game came out.
Yep.
But Snake actually is an actual character, not like BioShock. He had a lot of progression to the story. He learned he was manufactured, which was another oh shit moment.
Yep.
And one that kind of flew under his radar that I forgot about till I was writing notes for this is, I don't guess I remember, but in the beginning when you meet the DARPA chief, that's a foxhound guy.
Yeah, it was an octopus.
There's one right there. And you find out they kind of gloss over, but in the torture scene, you're like, hey, DARPA chief is like dead for days, and he's in my cage. Like the game is so good. This was like 2 pretty much kind of brought the story into crazy mode where I wasn't a fan anymore.
Yep.
The end of it anyway. But Metal Gear Solid 1 and the beginning of 2 and the games prior to that, so good.
Yeah. Megan, thoughts? Did you I'm sure you played.
I haven't played.
Get out of here.
No, I know. I'm very disappointed.
So you would play piece of shit Uncharted games throughout
the
whole
I know.
But
this is funny because very recently, like my roommate just bought like the first 3 like games of the series.
Okay.
And then it got me interested that I like started digging into like the story of it and the characters and it went way. It was like there's just so much backstory, right? And I was like, holy crap, I can't just sit here and read this. This is just so much to go over.
Right.
So I do want to play it, but this is that kind of gameplay is just not my cup of tea.
Metal Gear Solid 1, I will play it because I'm a huge fan of it, and like I played the game so many times, but the gameplay did not age well.
It did not age well at all.
Yeah. You have to be precise with your shooting, and there's no first person view. Oof. And a lot of times you're shooting guys off screen. And remember, this game was designed without joysticks, without DualShock joysticks.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of like the iffy auto aim kind of stuff. So the gameplay, if you're a fan of it, kind of like original Mario, right? If you're a fan of it, you're gonna like it because you played it before, but it does not age.
Wow, man, that's
Metal Gear Solid 2 ages because they made a lot of creature comforts from Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yeah,
but for 1, I would still play it. Maybe what I like to do if I don't want to play a game, but I heard the story is good, is I YouTube it.
Yeah, that's true. Just
go to
YouTube.
Resident Evil 7. I YouTubed it. Good story, by the way, but too scary.
I think I watched my brother at the time play through the entirety of Metal Gear Solid 3. Is that the one with like Raiden or the dude with the...
That's 2.
No, it's 2.
2? Okay, yeah. Then it was 2, yeah. I watched him play through the entirety of it because, I just couldn't stand to play it myself.
So would you say then, Megan, that you are, if you're given a situation, like I know in Ghosts, we talked about this now for a while, or like, throughout this podcast, is that in Ghosts, you have the option to go gung-ho, just go to town, or you can go stealth. You would just go gung-ho. Is that your style of play?
It depends. It depends on the situation.
Okay. All right.
But generally, I will go gung-ho. But if killing them quietly and silently is faster, then I will do that just to get through it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, like I was doing that a lot, and I realized playing Spider-Man that I am a stealthy person. Like I'll try to web up everybody before actually going into waves. Like I'll just do the stealth part like the whole way through. And I'm super patient. Like I'll just wait for them to just walk around, keep scanning the whole thing until I see safe, and I'm like, boom, okay, now. Like, so, you know what I mean? So like that's me. That's the way I play. Joel, are you more of a stealthy guy, or you just want to just go guns blazing?
Depends on the game. Spider-Man, you can be a powerhouse, so I stealth if it's like kill 10 enemies for stealth to get this bonus, so I'll do it.
No.
But then after that, I'll sit down right away. Game like Metal Gear, you really can't run and gun unless you have the active camouflage.
Yeah.
So I like not having an option's not fun. Like I would prefer to, if the situation calls for it, then I'll use it. But being forced into only doing something.
A good example is Horizon. Like you can totally go gung-ho, or you can do like the traps and the ropes and stuff and lure them in. So it's whatever floats your boat in that game.
Okay, all right. I guess it's funny, I didn't even think about that. I'm just like, am I a stealthy person, or am I just like guns a-blazing? It really just depends. Like if I'm playing a multiplayer game, I'm a guns a-blazing. Like I'm not gonna go stealth on you. Like I'm just gonna just run and gun. It kill as many people as I can before I die, type of deal. So, but that's the way I look at it. But All right, Megan, what is your number one? Close us out for tonight.
It is Half-Life. Half-Life.
Okay.
The first one?
Yep. What?
The first
one? The whole thing, the whole Half-Life. Yeah, the first one, sure. Or the second one, and the first episode, and the second episode, and the third one that never came out.
I think you could call Half-Life 2 episode 1 and 2 in all one game.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I would have to say 1 and 2 because I think you get just so much better understanding of what's going on, and just even more so getting into the second game. Mm-hmm. But Half-Life was the first PC game that I ever played. I remember sitting at like my mom's friend's house actually playing some sort of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle on some console. And I looked over and I saw on the computer like my friend's dad was playing this Half-Life game, and I was like, ooh, what is this? And they let me play like that intro part of it, and I was just hooked immediately. Next day we went to the store to buy it for ourselves, and just like me and my brother on one computer would just switch on and off to like just play parts of it. And I will never forget that. But just the whole alien invasion, and you're this one guy who can maybe stop it and maybe not, and this mysterious G-Man. It was just for me the perfect combination of everything that I needed to have a good experience. And every now and again I will still play through it because it really doesn't take that long anymore, right? Maybe 6 to 10 hours to finish the first game, just to get through it. And it's so fun because I remember everything I remember just the way I felt. I'm gonna go play it after this.
Wow.
And I was devastated when they weren't gonna make a third one. And a couple years ago, one of the writers who left Valve before they announced that the third one wasn't going to happen, or episode 3 wasn't going to happen, he wrote this like little novella of like what it was going to be, but like changed the names and stuff like that. And even that wasn't done. Like there would have been a 4th Half-Life.
Wow.
So disappointed.
Did you invest and get Alex?
My roommate got Alex because he has all the VR stuff.
Right.
But I just not in me to play VR like extensively that way. Yeah.
But I mean, it's Half-Life though. Like
I know, but it's too tedious is what I'm gonna say.
It's a sequel prequel. I mean, maybe it's obviously really good. It's won how many awards, but it's like I want to know what happens next, not what happened before Half-Life 2.
Yeah. Nobody asked for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Half-Life 2 just missed my honorable mention list. I love that series as well. So what I remember the most about Half-Life 1, this was, I think, late 90s? So
1998 is when it came out, yep.
So the shooter genre was very, very new, right? And even just the fact of like, which isn't really part of like the real game, but like you go in, you ride the elevator thing, you go through your office, and I'm like, this is weird. It's like, why is there a story? Like, why am I in a good way, right? In a good way, right? It's like it's refreshing. It's like, why am I like? It's like there's like you're a scientist, you go to work, and then all this stuff happens. But usually in shooting games at the time, we're like, no, you go in and you start shooting stuff.
Yep.
So it's very, very different.
Yeah, Doom, Wolfenstein type of deal. Yeah, absolutely.
Half-Life 2 was maybe like the most immersive first-person shooter game I played at the time when it came out.
Oh yeah. They had those. Oh, I'm sorry. Continue.
No, go ahead.
They after Half-Life, they came out with like those other
Blue Shift and
games. Like what was the other one? You were the military opposing force that just added to the story.
I remember the game.
I was like, it's like I didn't think I needed to know what happened on this side of it, but thank you for giving it to me.
Half-Life 2, like I think I talked about this on the pod before, but the physics engine in that game is just like ridiculous.
Yeah.
The gravity gun is probably like the most fun weapon I've played in the game. It's definitely top 5.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm a huge Half-Life fan as well. Good call, Megan. I really thought I told Riddell this when we first brought up the topic. I know how much you love Last of Us 2. So I thought
it was one of those things I didn't want to talk about because it was so new. And I wouldn't even say it was Last of Us 2. I'd say The Last of Us, just the first one. I preferred the story to that one. Yeah. because again, it made me cry. If you're gonna make me cry, I'm gonna give you an A.
You get an A for effort, y'all. Let me tell you. Wow, I'm very humbled, or not humbled, but I'm like very I guess happy in the sense that, I mean, first off, this is stuff that I'm learning from you, Megan. Like, I never realized that you were this passionate about Half-Life, for one. Because I'm just thinking about it myself. Like, Street Fighter was a really big game for me. But for you, for Half-Life, I'm just like, wow, that's deep dive into Megan land there. I didn't know, so that's kind of cool. I wish I had that type of presence. Had I played it, I know I played Half-Life 1 a little bit, but like I said, wasn't really my cup of tea. But that's, like I said, y'all have made it very, very convincing and compelling argument to play it. I think I'll tell you that, because it's, I mean, is the gameplay still relevant to this day? Is the question.
Yeah, I would say yeah.
There's I don't remember. I don't think the first one had like recoil. I think that new games have, but it's whatever.
There was no recoil.
Just go down as soon as. But it's cool because it's the game is, you have limited ammo, so you're not just kind of dooming it through.
Right.
The head crabs are freaking scary. I still hate those, and the things that pull you up from the vents. Ooh. Scary town.
Oh, you know what? I was just talking about that with somebody, and we could not remember what they were called. Barnacles. There we go. They're barnacles.
Okay. It's funny because it's not like it pulls you up fast or anything.
It's like.
But I still get freaked out every time it happens, and I have to go up and I just unload a whole clip, and I'm like, I wasted a ton of ammo. And then body parts fall out of it. It's like really creepy.
It's gross. Man. That's nasty. Well. That's our show, guys. What did you guys think? Do you guys think that any of your storyline list topics or list has come about? Let us know in the comments below. Megan, I truly appreciate you coming on the show. I'd love to have you again if you don't mind. That would be awesome.
Oh yeah, of course.
We can definitely do that again. Join us next week. Or I'm sorry, I take that back. Next week we'll be actually taking a small break, but we will be coming back the week after. And our topic, I believe, is going to be it's gonna be, again, another me moderating, but it's gonna be Joel and another one of our friends here, top 5 Square games, non-Final Fantasy, so be on the lookout for that. Anyway, tell us what you guys thought. If you have any questions, topics related or anything like that, please email us at topics@whatyour5.com. If you guys want to leave us a comment, or if you guys have any type of social media, go ahead and follow us at what's_your_5. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Thank you guys very much. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Joel. You guys have a great night. Thank you.
You guys.